Have you ever thought about who you owe your mindset, work, or ideas to? It may be a bit of a corny question, but really, think about it. Who was the person in your life who kickstarted that domino effect of influence that eventually led you to create the things you create? If you are a writer, that person may be Harlan Ellison. Or if you are in love with game programming, it might be a person such as Jonathan Blow. But for me, someone who does many creative things all at once, that person that pushed the first domino was Sycra Yasin. Who is Sycra Yasin?
Hey everyone, Sycra Yasin here.
Sycra is an artist, and in a way, he can be described as a pioneer for art YouTube. He has been creating tutorials, speed paints, and sometimes sketchbook tours on his channel since 2006, long before the days of monetization, Patreon, and an increasingly corporate Web 2.0. Sycra has been providing free education centered around painting and drawing without an incentive to earn anything from it. Eventually, he did sell a course on Pencil Kings, and he did create a Patreon which provides subscribers with an exclusive Discord server and with higher tiers providing paintovers and one-on-one coaching. A service for the more dedicated, the ones who really are willing to become professional artists. His previous works range from realistically rendered caricatures all the way up to ultra-stylized cartoon characters with dangerously pointed chins. And that did not come out of nowhere, but rather years of hard work and dedication to his craft. I am sure many would consider Sycra's YouTube channel as a pillar in the art community, with hundreds of hours worth of footage teaching viewers how to draw, but without forcing them to follow some kind of template. His channel also isn't necessarily centered around how to draw a specific body part or style, but rather proposes novel ideas in regards to workflow and how to approach the process of learning to become an artist. An attitude that is often promoted by Sycra and artists around him is the importance of gaining mileage. No, they weren't talking about Toyota Priuses, but rather putting in the hours practicing the craft by drawing subjects over and over again, through drawing and analysis. Once you draw something dozens of times, muscle memory builds up, which results in less mental resources being spent on drawing that thing again in the future. If you drew an ear and were happy with the result, the time is ripe to analyze it and just draw it again. Of the many artists on YouTube, Sycra also might be one of the bravest. He set a precedent for many aspiring artists to share information between each other, and not just drawing techniques, mind you. Sketchbooks, the struggle of becoming an artist, and even his story, which is one of a troubled upbringing and battles with mental illness. He also didn't shy away from being vulnerable, sharing his previously directionless approach to art, not knowing what goal he was building his skills up to, making crucial portfolio mistakes, or admitting that he was a late starter in art, showcasing a slow but steady improvement in his ability. Frankly, this takes balls, and I hope that Sycra knows how much of an inspiration he is to many directionless teens out there. He certainly was and still is to me. And he also introduced me to various other artists, such as Cynic's Design, Bob Meatbag, The J Jet Show, etc., that all were in part an inspiration to my own work. But what do I have to do with Sycra, or drawing in general? If you have been watching my videos for a while, you haven't seen any speed paints or art videos at all, only videos about games and the occasional real-world issue. Before video, I was more interested in becoming a professional artist. This right here is Mark Crilly's Mastering Manga book. It might be the first art-related book I ever bought. Before I found Sycra's channel, I was engrossed by Mark Crilly's videos that teach the viewer how to draw manga. He is a comic illustrator and YouTuber since 2007, who similarly to Sycra uploaded free videos that taught art. He still does to this day. Eventually, I stumbled across one of Sycra's videos, likely a how to draw video, and was surprised by multiple different things. The videos were longer and went in depth with more advanced concepts and ideas.
I needed to understand the way my shapes work and my shape language. I've got all these components. So now there's this feeling to not think so much and rather to go about creating. And this is really kind of where I hoped it would end up. And I also got a lot of people cautioning me earlier on, like, maybe you're being too analytical, you're thinking too much.
Frankly, I likely didn't understand many of the things he said at the time. I was learning English after all, but I was hooked. I also noticed that he drew digitally in most of his videos, which prompted me to beg my parents to buy me a bamboo pen and touch tablet, which I still use to this day. Since this discovery of Sycra's channel, I went deeper down a rabbit hole, which ended up with creative work being really the only thing I want to do for the rest of my life. I wasn't a good student in school, and I would rather sketch and doodle during class. Eventually, I decided that I want to do art professionally, so I went to a school that focused on media creation, so to speak. Around that time, I also started posting in the now seemingly defunct Sycra forum. And damn, I really miss those days. I found many other interesting artists on that forum, and some people were happy to see me update my online sketchbook, even though my drawings were far cruder than theirs. Someone created an unofficial Discord for forum members, and I decided to join, getting to know many people who had to put up with my edgy teenage self. Over the years I created some finished pieces, but mostly sketched around really, and I learned just how valuable criticism and experience of others truly is. When painting this guy, for instance, Shark Boy I called him, a professional artist named Neso Kayo pointed out various issues with the painting, suggesting I make some anatomical changes to the creature, and pointing out that the image had a horrible dynamic range, that I should darken the darks and lighten the lights. I applied this criticism to the best of my ability, and there we go. A painting I couldn't have made without that help. The Discord was a source of inspiration too, with many great artists sharing their creations on an almost daily basis. There was little in the way of getting inspired. But for me, drawing and painting moved more to the background of my creative aspirations. I started making more videos and focused on writing my scripts and turning them into something through editing. But in the end, I always circle around various creative disciplines, because really, art is inbred. To make my videos better, I have to create assets, which could be photos, videos, vector illustrations, and could also be drawings. I also noticed that over the years that cross-influence between disciplines is a real thing. You can improve in drawing through taking photos or getting into visual effects. May sound stupid, but in reality you learn a lot about composition and what your tools are capable of if you just experiment around and put that mileage into whatever you love doing. I love my experiments and my videos, and I am indebted to the people who put me on that path. I would encourage you to check out many of Sycra's videos to maybe get inspired or learn something new. However, if you didn't follow his channel for a while, you might have never known that for the past few weeks his channel was in limbo. It almost went away forever. You might be wondering what Sycra did to lose his channel. The answer is nothing. What happened was that he was the target of a crypto scammer hijacking his channel and YouTube not caring to reinstate it. Yeah, seriously. Some weeks ago I got a notification on YouTube. MicroStrategy is streaming about some Bitcoin crap. I was surprised since I don't subscribe to any cryptocurrency channels and am generally not interested in such topics. But when I checked out the bell notifications, they were set to all. I realized that something was wrong. The channel had around 700,000 subscribers, no videos were uploaded, and the only content on the channel was this single livestream. After a while I put one and two together and figured out that the channel belonged to Sycra. Saddened to see this, I wrote a report explaining that the channel was hijacked and sent it off, hoping for the best, and I was sure that the channel would soon be reinstated. Sycra made sure to warn his followers and has been updating everyone over Twitter. Sadly, without YouTube reinstating the channel then and there. I think one of the most infuriating parts about this entire story is just how impotent and inept YouTube support and in general like the process of getting help on YouTube actually is. So you would think as a creator that you can just write an email to someone, or there's some internal tool, anything, some kind of helpline that can help you verify that you are the person that, has the channel, that is uploading the content, that is doing the things. In reality, what you have to do is you have to go on fucking Twitter and bitch all day until there's enough of a stink being caused for YouTube to notice and care. That is what YouTube support is for these cases. You basically go on Twitter, a completely different platform. You spam as much as possible. Hey guys, hello, I have a problem. And at some point YouTube will hopefully recognize you. A while later, Cynic's Design, a friend of Sycra and another gigantic personal inspiration of mine, who I got to know from Sycra's channel, uploaded a video about how YouTube treats this legendary creator in the art realm.
Hey everyone, Cynics here, and unfortunately this isn't so much a fun video, but more so just something that I need to do to shed light on some of the ongoings behind the scenes of YouTube stuff.
How the hijackers got hold of his channel was through exploiting his SMS two-factor authentication method by spoofing his phone number.
There's a lot of backdoor kind of ways to hijack a channel, even with two-factor authentication, which he has. And, you know, once again, he wasn't doing anything active. This wasn't like a virus thing or anything regarding him. It was just YouTube accidentally giving control to someone else due to, you know, spoofed phone numbers and things of that sort.
Sycra did not get the privilege to speak to anyone, instead only receiving automated messages, and his channel cannot get reinstated due to a trademark strike.
Now, of course, the company MicroStrategy filed not just a copyright claim, but a trademark claim against the channel, and, you know, I guess that makes sense from their standpoint. But what doesn't really make sense in the long run is the fact that, you know, the channel was removed, and Sycra requested, of course, you know, can I get back control of my channel? It was hijacked, not through any fault of his own. It wasn't some like, hey, I'm gonna be greedy and try to sell my channel. It wasn't even, hey, I'm trying to make money and I'm gonna click on shady affiliate links and try to, you know, fall for anything like that. And as he tried to get it back, he was basically just kind of pushed away, shoved off. They were just told that since it was a trademark claim and not a copyright claim, that any further attempts to basically regain control of the channel have been lost to him. He filed an appeal. The appeal was denied for whatever reason. I think it's all automated. But he's almost just given up on being able to get it back. And man, that's depressing on a level that's really hit me in a lot of ways.
MicroStrategy is a real company after all, and must have reported the channel after finding out about the scam themselves, which was the correct move on their part. But there's a problem. This leaves the victim of the hijack, Sycra, in a predicament.
He was told that if he had over 1 million subscribers, he could have a personal handler that would take care of it. But since his channel doesn't make enough revenue, since it's not big enough, and it's funny how that margin keeps going higher and higher. I remember when it was like, oh yeah, you won't get any personal feedback from stuff like this if you have less than 100,000 subscribers. Now it's if you have less than 1 million subscribers, you don't get it. Because once again, you know, as Google chugs along and YouTube chugs along, it becomes more about how can we cut corners. And obviously they've laid off tons of people that really dealt with this type of stuff, this kind of user interactions. They keep cutting back on these people and just keep being like, well, we really can get away with just focusing on maybe people that have more and more higher revenue sources, bigger channels, and a lot of the smaller channels, you know, will just kind of get left behind. That's terrifying because most of the channels I watch, just in my own enjoyment of YouTube stuff, I would say 90% of them, if not way higher than that, have less than 1 million subscribers. Most of them have less than 100,000 subscribers, and these are the ones I watch. And it's shocking to know that, you know, if one of them manages to get hijacked, these people don't have any real recourse.
YouTube puts little effort in helping the people that are less valuable to them. With Sycra being an infrequent uploader, not having over 1 million subscribers, and not making YouTube much money, he gets treated less favorably, which is not only disappointing, but also majorly concerning. And the biggest knock-on effect from all of this is that dozens of hours worth of free education are gone now, lost thanks to selfish scammers who likely pulled hijacks such as these many times before.
Legacy doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've been there for, 18 years since the start of YouTube. It's just kind of forgotten. Like, thank you for the help. Now get out of our way. We got other stuff to deal with. And it's just so grim and dark. And I don't want to see all that stuff be lost media, because currently everything Sycra's ever done is lost media. And according to YouTube's responses to him, that's the way they plan to just let it stay. Like, that's it.
Or, rather, they would be if someone didn't think of backing up Sycra's content years ago. This is where I went to when the channel was down. The Sycra backup channel, which was created some years ago in order to archive all of Sycra's videos at the time.
So I have a couple of options, I figure. One is like, make sure there are no videos with music in it at all, or like either delete those super old videos before 2009 and just be safe knowing that, well, all of that is taken care of. But I realized, like, it's still weird, because for instance on Tumblr now you can't really have anatomy stuff on because that's censored. And I thought, well, this might make it easier for the short term, but maybe not the long term. So I decided on something else, which is to basically, so any video I've made before December 18th, 2018, that is public. I want to give you permission to re-upload, edit, and monetize it if you want. Like, you can do whatever you want with it, so long as it's public.
Back then, the threat to the channel were copyright strikes, of which it takes 3 for someone to get their channel shut down. And I'm lucky to say, I don't have to visit this channel anymore to watch any of Sycra's old videos. While I downloaded all of the channel's content for safekeeping, it did make me think about how unjust this situation really is, and how insecure our creations really are on this platform. When an original YouTuber with a library going back all the way to 2006 cannot save his channel in time, how would the situation look like for a far less popular person? This also is yet another way of potentially losing everything one built up over time, due to no fault of their own. One of the main issues when it comes to dealing with YouTube, or just the YouTube related issues, if they may arise, is that the help is very impotent. Ironically, it's very unhelpful. It's void of context, and it's very hard to get a real person on board. And if you get a real person on board, most of the times the help isn't really going anywhere. On this channel, we had multiple run-ins with YouTube's shit automation and frankly inhuman approach to rule enforcement and community support. Videos of mine have been wrongfully flagged with containing hate speech before, and the last big upload, the first part to a 4-part documentary, was algorithmically killed off due to a copyright claim that I disputed but wasn't resolved for an entire month. Situations like these really make me feel insecure, and they send a clear message to me. I am not welcome. Many of us would be better off if we had our own website instead of relying on the corporate overlords above us. But this is where they get us. How do people find out about you when you are not on YouTube? In order to stay on the platform, you may have to censor yourself, sanitize your videos in order for ads to play, and potentially even compromise on your principles and morals to keep making stuff and be heard. But for what? For YouTube to not even piss on you when you are set ablaze? But well, what can one do? The fear that I have, that Sycra has, that a lot of other channels have, is that their channels get terminated. And Sycra's channel was on the brink of termination years ago, and now it was on the brink again. Only that finally someone at YouTube actually heard him out. But this is the thing. What if the outcry, the public bitching and screaming on Twitter, what if it didn't reach the ears, the correct ears at YouTube? This is why there should be some system in place that can prevent a deletion, a channel deletion like this to happen in the future. Some kind of anti-fraud, anti-scam system. Maybe one may be in place, but again, if you have to bitch on Twitter for 15 days to get some kind of progress done, that isn't good. That really isn't good. But yeah, I'm happy to end this video on a positive note, which originally it didn't. I had to rewrite quite a bit of a video, like not too much, like certain things here or there. I still wanted to get a message across of inspiration and how something that you love can go away and there is a threat of something being gone forever. So I thought that it's still valuable to have a video like this in place, just to show like the domino effect of influence, how one channel, even if it's defunct or abandoned or the uploader uploads infrequently, how one source can influence many people. And I would direct some of you viewers out there, especially the artistically minded, to check out some of Sycra's videos. My recommendations are: the struggle to improve in art and the struggle continues. Sycra explores older art of his and ruminates on his difficulties and milestones in his art journey. In the sequel, he sits down with Bob Meatbag, another great artist that I got to know through his channel, and they discuss their journeys in a 3-hour-long sit-down. Much value to get from there. Today, I watched the interview Sycra did with Cynics, a tremendous video which gives an insight into another artist I adore. His interviews in general are highly recommended, especially if you happen to talk to an artist you like already. And last but not least, I highly recommend to anyone, wannabe artist or not, to check out the 3-part series To Become an Artist. I think if there is anything to watch on that channel, it is that series. Any of these videos can give you some kind of value, even if you aren't really drawing for a living or trying to become an artist. I am really happy to see that Sycra is back to the world of the living, so to speak. And I hope that we are gonna see many more videos from him in the future. And whatever it may be, I just know it might be a really interesting watch. So, thank you very much, Sycra, if you're watching this, for the many years that you gave me inspiration to, for pushing me into the world of art, into the world of creativity. And I really hope that you don't have to go through such an experience again. It didn't look like it was fun. Thank you guys for watching.